way up there and way out of here.
The Philadelphia Eagles are Super Bowl champions. Eagles fans everywhere, this is for you.
The 0-2 pitch, swing and a miss, struck him out. The Philadelphia Phillies are 2008 World Champions of Baseball.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another recap episode of the Phixated podcast. I am your host, Mike Azalina, ready to take October with my buddy Regz. That a boy, Regz. Welcome back to the show.
Azzy.
That a boy, Regsy Boo. So for those of you that don't know, Regz was at the game tonight. If you listen to our last episode where we did not start off like this.
No.
Regz was at the game tonight. We are recording this at 11 o'clock Eastern time. I am in California, recording at 8 o'clock Pacific time. I don't really know what my body's feeling right now. Last night I was both hungry and exhausted at 6 p.m. So
I'm
right
on
now,
pure adrenaline right now.
Yeah, so this is dedication, people.
And by the way, to
this
talk about our last episode, my oldest son, Cole, for whatever reason, loves listening to our podcast. Anytime I'm in the car with him, he says, "Dad, can you put on your podcast?" If I put on another podcast, he's like, "Dad, is this yours? Can we put on yours?" And I was like, he wanted it in the car ride up to the game today. And I said, "Buddy, I can't listen to the last one of ours. I can't do it on the way to the game. Don't need that kind of juju in the car."
Yeah.
So
I
denied him. You know, I had to be like, "Sorry, buddy, we're gonna listen to the radio."
Well, I'll tell you this, bud. We had a lot of compliments from people who were like, "I credit you for being able to do a podcast after that game."
Listen, if we can come on after they lose the World Series and the Super Bowl and all those things, this is nothing. This is nothing.
You're right. But a lot of people were very appreciative. And I did get multiple messages after the game tonight to find out if we were doing a reaction.
We
to
love
tonight's game.
and appreciate all of you.
Yeah, thanks so much for caring and really wondering what we have to say.
Yeah.
Because honestly, we don't really know what's coming. We do these reactions. Like we just
jump
log
right
on
in.
and we talk like that. I told Regz I got back from dinner like 5 minutes ago. I changed real quickly. I was like, I'm just gonna change and then we're gonna start. And that's exactly where we're at. He was reading Twitter for all the crazy stuff going on there. And I had the Dodgers Diamondbacks game, which is actually, you know, there's a little bit of a shot here. The Dodgers have first and second with 2 outs in the 7th. I can't tell who's up yet because I think they're making a pitching change.
Is it still 4-0?
It's 4-0, but there's a little moment in time. It's Chris Taylor. There's a moment in time here where, you know, the Dodgers can get themselves back into the conversation and live to see another day. However, I'd love an 8 o'clock start tomorrow for my friends who, you know, have kids they got to get to bed and you know that 6 o'clock time frame is very challenging.
Even 5 o'clock. It's like I had to leave work at 2:30, pick my kids up early. I had some people. I had another dad down the street. He like got there at 2:30. I was like, "Man, you're crazy."
What's you told me before the show, but for the listeners, what time did you get there and get settled?
So we got there we parked at 5:10. We literally ran in. My brother was there also. His seats were down low that he found. So I kind of texted him like, "Hey, like once we go up, we're not coming back down. Like we stick up top, we run down to get food, or we just go to the bathroom. Like during the playoffs, we don't like meander." So I kind of texted him, and he was kind of a dick and never answered and never got out of his seat when I'm like, "Hey, your nephews are here to say hi to you."
Your nephews are here. Yeah, this would be a cool time to see them.
We watched an inning on TV. We watched the second inning on the TV near Bull's Barbecue. So Jeff, if you're listening, you know, good on you there, bud. But so finally I just texted him like, "We're going
Come
up.
on, Jeff.
We're going up. We'll see you at the end of the game. You know, we'll meet you by the gate before we leave."
Yeah.
Which we did, and he was very happy to see them, and they were excited to see him as well.
Yeah, I'm sure they were.
Wasted an inning watching it on TV while we were standing there. But so we sat down as the third inning started.
Good time to sit down.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you about my experience before we get into the game. So I told people on Monday, like I had a training, right? It's a training where if you get everything done in day one, there's a good chance you can get out 45 minutes to an hour. Too. We got everything done yesterday. I was assuredly getting through everything I had to get through. And rebuilt the schedule for today, got through all the things that I needed to get through, hit like the quarter 2 mark. And I was like, this is the last piece. If I can get through this by like 2:20, then I will be out of here by like 10 to 3. Sure enough, I had the game cast up at 2:20. So I turned it on essentially with 2 outs in the first. And was able to sort of follow what was going on. And I told you that I left. It was 1-0. I heard Nola strike out Ozuna with 2 runners on. I heard that on the radio. And I unplugged my phone from the CarPlay, looked at it, and Castellanos had tied the game in the parking lot of the hotel. So by the time I got upstairs and turned on the TV and got it on the channel, Marshy had just rounded first and they showed the replay that he had singled. So I got to see the rest of the third inning. So you and I were essentially settled in at the same exact time.
Yeah.
Which is, that's pretty cool. So.
And you can mention I was a good friend who did not text you.
No one did.
One time.
No one did.
Because I knew the rules.
No, well, people texted me because I texted them. Here's why I didn't text you. Because I was like, things started to go well, and I was like, maybe I don't text Regz. Maybe we keep this going.
I'm happy to be a sacrifice in this scenario.
Maybe we don't talk. So this is a conversation we're gonna have to continue. Like, do we not talk tomorrow now?
I don't like it just off the bat because one of my favorite things is texting you during baseball games.
For the people,
if it has to be done, it has to be done. I love you, but if it has to be done, it has to be done.
They won 10-2 without us talking.
So we text until we're losing by 3 runs, which won't happen. I'm knocking on wood, which won't happen. No, I'm just saying if this is the scenario we're going with, if they're doing well, we don't text. Yeah.
Got you. Okay. All right. I'm with you. The Dodgers might be 4-2.
I'd love that to go another game, if I'm honest.
I'd love for it to get to a game 5.
Yeah, that'd be great.
That would be absolutely amazing if it could get to a game 5. Okay. All right. What do you say? Do we just move into it?
Yeah.
All right. I think we do it. We gave our little recaps to what our situation was. We're going to do what we've been doing, which is we're going to walk through the game. We're going to walk through it inning by inning, and we're going to get Reg's in-person reaction and the vibes of the stadium as we go toward the big moments of the game. So, first inning, Aaron strikes out or gets Acuna, strikes out Albies, then back-to-back singles to Riley and Olsen before striking out Ozuna.
Can I very quickly give you my experience of the first inning?
Yeah.
I am pulling in the parking lot, and I'm literally in the line to pay for parking. And I'm watching the people up literally in my section, 433, at the end of like that side of the stadium. And I'm watching them standing up and waving their towels. So like I try and match the reaction to what Fransky is saying because I have the windows down. So like we're listening for the reaction. And then I swear, and then because the radio is a little bit delayed, Ozuna comes up and gets out, but we saw everyone sit down. Like we heard a cheer and then we saw everyone sit down. And I thought something bad happened because in the radio world, the at bat hadn't finished yet. And I'm like, he hit a 3-run homer. I was like, we just gave up 3 runs in the first inning. And then it was like, he struck him out and we were like, yeah.
Oh my gosh, what a nightmare that would have been, a 3-run home run.
Oh my goodness. I was so nervous. I was so worried. Yeah. The woman was trying to take my credit card and I was like, yes. I was like, pumping my fist.
You don't talk to me right now. You don't talk to me right now.
It was just a very weird
then,
experience.
yeah, for sure, for sure. So then the Phillies come up to face Bryce Elder in the bottom of the first, and not a great,
Yeah.
not a great first inning.
Not
You know,
fantastic.
one of those things where Kevin Long said in an in between inning interview on the field that they were having trouble seeing the ball early. I don't know if there were shadows. I wasn't there for that, so I don't know if there
I
were
was
shadows
walking
in
in.
play. But he said like neither team was seeing the ball well. We definitely weren't seeing the ball well. And Trey and Bryce both struck out. Schwarb's, I guess,
Grounded
just
out, right?
he
The
grounded
first.
out, but he had an eight pitch at
Yeah.
bat.
Mm-hmm.
So very very Schwarber type of bat there. He's not quite there. I had a couple swings today where I thought like it was closer, and I think he's getting there. I think he's really close.
Yeah.
So much so that I'm going to go ahead and say you're going to see a Schwarbomb tomorrow.
I forget which inning it was, but someone tweeted when I was looking back through Twitter that McCarthy just said that Kyle had that angry uncle look after he missed that pitch. He's like, he's just missing some of these pitches.
Dude, there was a pitch. I don't know if it was his last at bat or so the at bat against Hand. I'll get to it later. I'm not going to hone in too much on it because at that point the game was sort of in hand, pun intended.
Good done.
But that at bat, the first pitch was his only shot, and he fouled it off.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it was his next pitch against is it Schuster Smith?
Yeah,
I think that's his name. He had one and just missed it.
Yeah, he's just like that little bit off.
Yeah, so he's close for sure. Top of the second, 1-2-3 inning, gets Darno, strikes out Rosario, and Garcia. Heard it from the crowd.
Yeah,
day long. And we'll get to that in a little bit. Phillies don't do anything in the bottom of the second. Bomer strikes out, so 3 straight strikes for L. And then Stott lined out to Rosario, and JT struck out. So he struck out 4 of the first 6 Phillies that he faced.
Not great.
A lot of swings and misses.
Yeah.
No, again, weird though, because he didn't have a ton of swings and misses this.
It's interesting knowing what Kevin Long said, because again, being in the stadium, we don't see the in-game interview, so that's interesting that was his take on that.
Yeah, it was definitely something that he mentioned pretty openly, and it was right after the big inning, so clearly something changed.
Right.
So then the top of the third is where the scoring starts. Nola gets Michael Harris to ground out right away, and then Acuna doubles his first hit of the series. A little worried that he's getting hot right now because he was on base 3 times. They had 2 hits. Doubled, and then Albie singled. They did a huge celebration in the dugout. It was a lot for a 1-run game in the third inning. It was a lot.
Quickly on Acuna, his hits, I think that first hit was his best. The other one was like he kind of just reached out and barreled up a pitch that was low and outside and hit it up the middle. Like he hit it hard, but he wasn't. I'm not going to say he was really close to like what we know Ronald Acuna to be. So let's just hope he just kind of he put the ball in some spots, hit one up the middle. He kind of, again, he really reached for it though and just kind of barreled it up on one of those low and outside pitches where you kind of just like and
it's still a concern. He's
of course that dude is a concern every time he steps up in the batter's box.
Correct.
He's ridiculous.
Correct.
I hate him, but he's ridiculous.
Albies is on first. Riley then lined. They walk Olsen, which felt like an intentional pitch around.
Nola wasn't going anywhere near him.
It was a 4-pitch walk that, I mean, the only pitch that was close was the third pitch. And it was up in the zone. It could have been a strike, but the strike zone was very weird today.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He was calling pitches off the corners, not super consistently. And this pitch was definitely a strike. But, whatever. Almost happier he walked there because Nola has good luck against Marcell Ozuna. So he ended up getting him to strike out. And then the bottom of the third. So before we get into the bottom of the third, let me ask you, what was the stadium vibe? What was the energy level between innings, top of the third to bottom?
So I will say that them scoring first kind of did deflate the stadium a little bit. I think we talked about this on our reaction pod to game 2. That scoring first and keeping the crowd into it was going to be really important. So when that happened, everyone was like, well, shit. We didn't score first. But I think there was immense relief that it was only one run. I think it was like unbelievably crucial that it was only one run. So I think there was relief that it was one run, and then the vibe after that was like pure nervous anticipation. Like, what are we gonna do? Are we gonna, because we hadn't looked very good in the first 2 innings against this guy, and so it was a nervous energy of, can we get it back? Can we at least tie it up? Can we not get in a 3-0 hole if Nola just kind of keeps bleeding these little one runners throughout the rest of the innings? So it was a very nervous energy.
Yeah, and that's, we anticipated that. Luckily for us, Nick Castellanos is out of his mind right now. And I I'm going to give credit here in a moment to someone who listens to the show, but before I do, for those of you who don't know, Nick led off the inning on a 1-0 sinker. Actually, the first pitch was pretty much dead center, right down the middle, called a ball. And it was like letter high, but it was right in the middle of the zone. I have no idea how it wasn't called a strike. But he hit an 88-mile-an-hour sinker off and on his hands off the plate, 375 feet. So he really got into it. Yeah. Tied the ball game there. So I do want to say he does get another one later. We'll get to that. It was later in the game when they were up by a bunch. But listener to the show, Randy, did text me after his comments about they're at their best after they get punched in the face. He texted me that quote followed by, I feel like Nicky's going to hit 2 home runs.
Good for you, Randy.
Wednesday.
Good for you.
Guy just nailed it. Like,
just
like what a random,
right.
What a random prediction, right? Yeah. Like to say,
who says
he's
2?
Have a big game.
Who says 2?
Right.
Yeah.
Like he's going to have a big game or he's going to homer one. But like Randy comes straight out with like 2, he's going to hit 2 homers. So Randy, I'm going to need a prediction.
I was about to say, good for you, Randy.
I'm going to need something for Thursday's game, man. You're going to have to get me that and get me that fast.
Yeah.
So as soon as you listen to this, I would appreciate
it. I mean, it was, Nick is, I think, gets the second loudest cheers out of anybody that walks to the plate on this Phillies team.
People just love him, man.
They just love him. Yeah. And I think the fact that he's still hitting farther down in the lineup, the fact that he can, like, I think everyone heard about when he first got dropped, he like skipped his outfield work that day. Like, he was pissed. He was upset. But the fact that he has like accepted it, he comes in and he like, no, again, outside of Bryce Harper, nothing that the fans want more than a hot Castellanos. Yeah. Nothing we want more than him bashing the ball. just and he hit those balls hard in Atlanta.
Yeah, it was
in game 2.
90 and that home run was like 98-mile-an-hour exit velocity.
Yeah. But like he hit those balls hard. Like his at bats were good in game 2.
Yeah. 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 They said on TV, Frank Core said on TV that on a warmer summer day in Atlanta, that ball's
that
like
ball's
5 rows deep.
Same with Schwarber's double off Strider, like that.
Yeah,
those balls are way gone. But it was such a relief to just tie the game. If we had scored no more runs in that inning, we would have been just as excited in the stadium because we proved that we can answer back. Yeah, we're not leaving Nola hanging out there. Hey, we got you. We're going to keep this thing close. We're not going to let it bleed away. And, we'll get into what happened next.
But alas, they were not done. They were not done.
Yeah.
Brandon Marsh singles to follow that up and smoked it. 3 hits.
I was about to say, can we talk? Yeah. We need to talk about him.
Big night for B.
Big
night for B. And this is the perfect kind of segue because Johan Rojas came up and did not reach base. He looks, and I've been the first to say it many times, he has not looked overmatched. The postseason with the pitching, he's looked very overmatched. And I understand the defense, but I don't know how much the drop off from Rojas to Pache is if they decide to put Pache in center field every day. I don't know. Maybe you finish the series the way you start with what you've been doing. Because B's going to play tomorrow either way against Strider. He's going to play. But,
Which
you know,
he should.
And actually, B's going to play if they get to the Arizona series because
Kelly, right?
Gallen and Kelly, I believe,
righties.
are both righties.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, you know, he's going to play regardless. I think at this point, though, when I look at center field, when I look at that 9 hole, I almost have more confidence in a Pache at bat at this point than I do a Rojas at bat.
I agree with you. And go ahead.
It just comes down to what you believe in the defense.
Here's what I would say for a potential next series. Or even this series. I think, especially in Atlanta, Pache being in center field is perfectly fine. He's played there so much. He's used to everything. Mm-hmm. He covers, just as much ground, maybe slightly under than Rojas, but still he's a fantastic defender. I think in a place like Arizona, I want Johan Rojas in center field. That place is so big.
I'm gonna be at kind of an ass here, and I'm gonna say I don't even want to talk about Arizona.
Oh, that's fine. That's just where my mind went. Is like
I get it. Yeah. I get it. I want to finish Atlanta.
That's fair.
And then
you're totally fair.
What I'm talking about is just through these next 2 games.
Yeah.
When you think about Rojas and just the struggles that he's had,
it might be time to just give him a blow.
Yeah, I don't want to see him get in his own head to the point where like he's not effective at all in the future, because this kid's got a future.
Yeah.
And now he doesn't look like he's frustrated. He's smiling in the dugout.
He's cheering laughing. Everybody on. Yeah.
He's cheering. His defense is not taking a hit at all.
Not at all.
So I think when you're topper, your process right now is, what do I value more in that situation? Like, I'm going to get plus defense in center field.
Yeah.
If we hit everywhere else, I don't have to worry about
what's the difference.
It's like having the pitcher down there again, but we have the offense to do it.
Yeah.
So I think that might be where his head's at. I just wonder at what point do you make that decision, because are you going to need the offense? Like, are you going to have to get to the point where the guys at the top aren't doing it? Now, right now, I feel like they're going to. Like, I feel like these guys are all in the headspace.
Yeah.
They're all locked in from top to bottom.
Yeah.
So we'll see. It's probably a bigger conversation.
Yeah.
And one that will continue if they should get to the next round.
Yeah.
But for the moment, it feels like they're just going to keep running.
Right. Because up to this point, it hasn't affected the offense one bit.
I will tell you this. If there is a night to sit him, it's probably against Strider.
Oh my God. Yeah. He has no chance against Strider.
No. So, I mean, if you're going to do it, then maybe tomorrow's the night to do it.
Maybe.
You just use him late in the game for defense. Maybe he goes to right for Casty. If it gets to that point where you have a lead and you're just trying to protect the lead, what a defensive outfield that would be, by the way.
Well, just move like Pache to right.
Yeah, what a defense.
Marsh, Rojas, Pache. Jesus, does any ball drop ever? By the way, we'll get to the later innings where Marsh being in left field made a huge difference.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. I know exactly what you're talking about, but we'll talk about that. All right, so back to the inning. Schwarber then grounded out for the second out, and I was like, all right, maybe we're just going to end this inning with a
Marsh to second though.
Correct. Yes, correct. But then the Trey ground ball it's in the hole, and I was cursing Arcia up and down.
I did I literally, Azzy, this is the exact same thing I thought in the moment was your reaction to him stopping that ball from getting in the outfield.
Yeah, my reaction was, you asshole.
Yes,
because most shortstops that either gets through or it bounces off their glove. For all the stuff that we're going to give Arcia crap in the coming months, this is not one of those plays. No. That's a tremendous play.
It was a great play.
That's a tremendous play to keep that ball in the infield. You're
literally thinking he saved a run. He saved them being down by a run.
Oh yeah, Marsh is scoring easily.
Absolutely.
What happens next though is just poetry. It's absolute poetry.
Oh my God.
I texted a multitude of people after it with a simple question that I'll ask you here in a moment. But I want to start with this. Is Bryce Harper and this isn't the question, this is another question, I didn't ask him about this. somebody asked me this. Is Bryce Harper the most clutch Philadelphia athlete that has ever lived? This guy, the moment.
I mean, he's
that
there.
This guy
He's absolutely in the top 3.
I don't know. Iverson?
I mean,
Who
again,
else?
how many big games was Iverson in?
Right. Regz, I don't know who else. Jimmy? Maybe Jimmy? Jimmy always found a way to get big hits.
Jimmy was pretty good.
But I don't know that Jimmy had as many big hits as Bryce has had in 5 years.
Again, I don't know like Flyers, so I can't speak to that.
Yeah, I don't really think any Flyers super
Thinking
clutch,
through Sixers, like AI is the only answer, really.
And then in terms of the Eagles, like Donovan was not clutch.
No.
I mean, Jalen, we still got to see. Jake Elliott.
I was about to say Jake Elliott. Yeah. Jake Elliott's been pretty clutch.
Best kicker of all time. But yeah, man, I mean, just what he's able to do.
I can't. It's Fritz.
Let me
let's talk about what actually happened.
The guy hit an absolute moonshot.
Second deck.
Second deck moonshot. Let's just give you the numbers here. It was on a slider that just kind of sat middle in. I mean, just sat there. 109.5 exit velocity. 108.
How much was the total?
The total what?
Feet.
Oh, 408.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was crushed, Regz. I mean, it was just absolutely crushed. And I don't know. I mean, I'm sure you've seen the replay, but he stood at home plate for a really long time.
I know he did. Do you want to know why? You want to know my first thought when he hit it?
Tell me.
Please, God, stay fair. Because
I don't think that's why he stood there.
No, but from my angle in left field, it's very difficult to tell where a ball is, like in relation to like what field it's being hit in.
Yeah, for sure.
And I knew it was going that way, and all I'm thinking is, for the love of God, stay fair.
Stay fair. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And then you see it drop in the second deck, and I mean, if you want to know what I thought when he stepped to the plate, I said, only to myself, I just said, now. Do it now.
Need a moment.
You had your chances in game 2. Like, you came up with first and second and 2 outs twice, I think, right? And didn't get it done.
Mm-hmm.
You're at home. This idiot at shortstop gave you motivation, right? Not that Bryce needs motivation, but like, what did we talk about?
All the greats do. Think about
what did
Michael
we
Jordan,
talk about in the reaction pod? Give me angry Bryce Harper.
You got him.
I got him, and I couldn't be happier. I literally said it to a guy behind me who was like, it was saying something about what Arcia said. And I said, no, it's not. Don't take it back. It's the greatest thing that happened. Because you know what? It gave us an angry Bryce Harper. Mm-hmm. And I mean, again, I was there at the Reese home run. I was in left field.
And this is what I wanted to ask you. How loud?
And again, because I just can't. We talked about this in the first game, or for the Stott Grand Slam. I don't know, because I was in the bottom bowl for the Reese home run, and I literally felt like sound was like crushing me.
Yeah.
Just because it was coming from the top. Again, in this game, I'm at the top. Of course, like, it was loud. Of course it was.
Yeah.
I don't know if anything's going to be as loud as what I heard when Reese hit that home run. And again, I think it's purely down to where I'm sitting. That's it.
That's fair. Yeah.
But it was ridiculous. As the plate, like, we felt our section shaking.
Yeah. How
you
were
know
the
what I mean?
boys during that? I'm sure they were losing.
They went nuts.
Yeah.
They're high-fiving people around them. They're like, again, they're almost shocked. At least my middle one, who's only 6, he's shocked by the noise initially. Mm-hmm. But then he he snaps back out of it and kind of starts being happy about everything. Of course, his big thing was he was holding a water bottle, and I kind of squeezed him. So I put the water bottle all over him. He's like, "Daddy, you spilled my water." I'm like, "Who cares? Bryce in a home run." Yeah, they were loving it though. And then it just turns into, like, what did we do to deserve this guy?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's all anybody. It's all, if you asked every person in that stadium, it's all anyone was thinking.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he did it again.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. But here was my question that I asked everybody, and I don't think there's really an answer other than they're stupid. Why are you even pitching to Bryce?
I don't know.
Like,
Because he struck him out the first at bat.
yeah, but I mean, it's Bryce Harper.
I mean,
and it's a tie game.
But that's all I can think of.
Like, and look, there were runners on first and third, and I think Trey, being smart, didn't give them the opportunity.
Right, yeah.
He stayed at first and didn't give them the opportunity to put Bryce on.
That's such a good point. I didn't even think of that.
But like, you could really like do the intentional walk they did to Olsen in the second or the third. I think it was the third.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the top of the third. You could do what they did to Olsen and just not throw him anything close to the zone. If he takes his walk, great. If he chases, great. But I mean, just throwing him that pitch in that spot, I'm going to be honest with you. There are a lot of choices in life. That's a bad one. You don't throw Bryce Harper that pitch in that spot
at home
with 2 runners on base, like ever. You don't do it in the backyard. Like, that's not a pitch you throw.
Yeah.
So let's get to the drama of it. Yes, he stood at home plate for a long time, but on his turnaround second, he made direct eye contact with a head down.
I was about to say, he was staring at the dirt.
Mm-hmm. And then Bryce, continued crossed home plate, did the throat slash, and
which he does all the time.
Which he does all the time, right?
There was something on Twitter though that like the Braves radio booth like got pissed about that.
Oh yeah, they were so upset about it. It was, you would have thought that he literally hurt somebody the way they reacted.
I can't wait to listen to it.
They're great with the chop. They think that's
oh yeah,
fine.
Of course, that's the cool. Yeah, that's really cool.
But also at the same time, doing the throat slash is not okay in today's. Was the exact quote, if I can recall correctly. So yeah, he stared down Orlando Arcia for the saying after game 2, attaboy Bryce, and laughing hysterically. So there was a lot of doubt as to whether or not he said it. We're going to talk about post game here in a little bit, but that is vicious, Bryce Harper. That is vicious.
I can't explain my happiness that's what the Braves decided to give us. That's what they turned our boy into.
Yeah, well, let's hope that it continues, right?
Yeah.
It continued in this game, but let's hope it continues further. So that's why the stare down. Yeah. The inning, however, continued. Alec Boehm singled.
The next pitch.
Yeah, it was super loud in there.
Yeah. It was like the Casty single after Bryce's home run in Game 3 last year.
Yeah. And then Stoddy walked, and JT doubled in both of them. That's sort of what we missed in Game 2.
Yeah.
Cashing in the moments where we needed the runs.
And
right?
with 2 outs.
Yes. So that was huge.
Unbelievable.
Casty struck out, and all I said to everybody, not you, didn't text you, but texted everybody else, and said, Aaron, I need you to nut up and not give up a run.
Yeah. So
That's what I said to everybody.
I think let's just go back quickly to JT's double. I can't express the enormity against this Atlanta Braves team of 6-1 as opposed to 4-1.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a huge difference. 4-1.
Yeah.
Everyone is very nervous about that next bottom inning or the next top of the inning. Like, thankfully, it was the bottom of the lineup. So I think it couldn't have been a better situation for Aaron with those runs being scored. But I can't express the enormity of those 2 extra runs in that situation.
Yes, I agree with you. I think, to get JT going right now too, he's continuing to hit. He's got a couple of big hits in this series.
Yeah.
And his, his ability to cash in behind, Bomer and Bryce.
It's enormous. It's enormous.
Is huge. It's huge for them. Because I do feel like the lineup is pretty much what it was tomorrow against another ring.
Yeah.
So You mentioned the bottom of the order for the Braves. He got Darno to fly out and back-to-back strikeouts to Rosario 10. And Orlando like looked awful against him. I know he ended up cashing in later in the game against the Pen, but he could not see Nola at all today.
Yeah.
The Phils then come back in the bottom of the Brandon leads off double. And then they went 1, 2, 3 from there. I was a little worried at that point
was
because
tough.
again, Marsh advanced to third and they had one out with and Brad Hand came in throwing his nasty ass slider with 94-90.
Yeah.
Brad Hand didn't touch 95 one time for last year. Not once.
Yeah.
And he came in firing BBs. And the thing about Schwarbs is that slow slider is going to get time. And that's what happened. He did get Trey on that same pitch. So they brought Knowles again, came out in the 5th. Got Harris, Acuna single. That's the ball you're talking about.
Yeah.
Regz, I'm gonna tell you that although it may not have looked hard off his bat in person, it was 107.
No, it looked hard, but it just looked like it was one of those where he had to kind of reach for it. And it's just one of those weird ones where you've known these things. You reach for it, but you get it pure. You know what I mean? So it came off hard. Like it was a bullet up the middle.
Right.
But it wasn't like he was well balanced and took a good swing at it. He's just a strong guy who hit it just pure on the barrel.
Got you. Okay. He does get Albies to pop up. Acuna steals second. And then I will tell you that when Riley hit this ball, I thought it was like 6 rows deep.
Yeah, so did I.
I think the whole stadium did. There was an audible gasp.
The instant that he hit it, I said, oh no.
Yeah.
And the fact that Castellanos caught that, and like I saw Casty going back, not like looking at it, but like literally like this. And I said, there's no way. That ball's, like you said, is 4 rows deep. And I couldn't believe that he caught that ball. Couldn't believe it.
He got it. But yeah, even the announcers, it sounded like, he had gotten it. And then all of a sudden you hear him say, it looks like he has room. And he settled under it with like a step or two from. So
just wild.
Got out of it.
Wild.
And then they head to the bottom of the 5th, and I remember texting people like between innings, like, do you think Knowles comes back out? Like, what do you do? What's the situation? And all of us pretty much agreed that if they got a run, Knowles would come back out. And Regz, they got a run because Bryce Harper wasn't done yet.
No.
He wasn't done yet. He hit another one. This one to dead center field. And pretty much as hard as the first one, further than the first one, 414 feet, 110 mile an hour exit velocity. He got all of it. And again, as he rounded second base, stared down Arcia.
Yeah.
Now, this time Arcia was looking at
it.
I'd
love to explain this one because from my vantage point, I just see the ball the entire way. It literally gets to where the center fielder usually plays, and it hit some kind of wall of wind. Because when he hit it, all I was like, he did it again. I said, that thing's hitting the bricks. It was hit that hard. And then all of a sudden it stopped. And Harris was kind of tracking it. And I said, oh my God, that didn't go out.
He was close.
I was like, it didn't go out. And then I have a perfect vantage point of that, where he's jumping. And he missed it. And I was like, why was that so close? Like I thought that thing was hitting the batter's eye. Oh my goodness. Yeah. But like, thank God. Harris made a play at it, man. It was close.
He almost got it. The replay.
He did.
Like you thought
it was close.
You thought he had it. Yeah. He made a heck of an effort. He's a good center fielder.
I know.
He's
I know
really
he
talented.
is.
Bomer walked, Stotty lined out to left, and then they made the pitching change and brought in the kid that they were debating on starting the game. And, I think there was probably a lot of conversation or thoughts around the idea that Elder had a year of experience. Smith Shawver has never pitched in the postseason. This was the right move by Snicker, and I don't say this baseball. This kid has 5 major league starts. putting him in the position to start his first postseason game in Philadelphia might have been the dumbest decision that he could have ever made. So he made the right choice by bringing him into a game that was 7-1 and getting his feet wet. You can tell the kid's got a ton of potential.
Yeah.
I mean, the stuff is really good. But putting him in to start a playoff game at Citizens Bank Park
wouldn't
have been a good decision. No, because even as the lineup saw him a second time, they started to hit the ball really hard on him. So they brought him in. JT walked on 4 pitches. Nick flew out to center. B struck out to end the inning. And then the question remained, it's a 7-1 game. Do they bring Knowles back out? And they did. And he struck out Olsen. Ozuna singled. He struck out d'Arnaud, but d'Arnaud had a really, really bat.
Yeah.
8 pitches that it took to get Travis d'Arnaud out.
Yeah.
This dude's a pest.
I know.
He's a pest.
Ridiculous.
I'm still happy they traded him because they got Roy Halladay, but he's a pest.
Yeah.
And he's been that way with us ever since he came back to the division. And it feels like that dude has never left the division. He just stays. So then they take out Nola, and talk to me a little bit about the stadium at that point, because I feel like we've had a really rocky road with Aaron Nola this year, but the last 4 or 5 outings, this guy has pitched 3 really important games for them. In 3 weeks. He pitched the clincher to get into the postseason. He pitched the clincher to get to this round. And this game, there was a lot on the line today. And 6 2/3 of 1-run baseball against this team coming off the momentum that they gained in Atlanta is really impressive. And there weren't a lot of stressful outs. There just weren't. I mean, the first inning was stressful. The second, the fourth, the fifth, they were not. So talk to me a little bit about the energy in the stadium when Topper came out and when Knowles walked off.
I'll admit, I kind of wanted him to stay in. I kind of wanted him. I know he was at like 95 because d'Arnaud, like you said, had a long at bat. I still wanted him to stay in there. But it was, again, someone put this on Twitter, one of the beat writers, but it might have been the loudest ovation he's ever received. From the entire stadium. He tipped his cap to everyone. He gave, he dabbed up his entire infield before he left.
Made sure to get JT.
Yep. It was an enormous ovation because I think everyone recognized how important even just those first 3 innings were to only allow them to score 1 run. After game 2. Like, this is all we talked about on our last reaction pod.
It's all in 2-7.
You can come out and not give this team a chance, like, your offense will show up at home. And that's what happened. And he continued to keep it a 1-run game. And again, against the lineup who hits unbelievably well against guys who don't throw 98, 97 plus, Aaron does not throw that hard. His sinker's at 92, 93.
Guys who have pretty good numbers against him. Too.
Exactly. It was tremendous. It was tremendous.
His final line, 5 2/3, 6 hits, 2 earned, a walk, and
again, the other one was on Strom giving up, a walk and a hit.
It's his base runner, but
I get it, but still,
it's
just tremendous, and the ovation suited the way he pitched. It was an enormous wave of sound that came when he finally stepped off the mound and started walking towards the dugout.
Very, very well deserved. Very well deserved. So then they bring in Matty Strom to try and get out of it, to basically get Rosario out of the game and face Pilar, but he walked Pilar.
Just unnecessary.
New nemesis, Orlando Arcia, singled back up the hole off of the score. But he got Michael Harris to ground out. So that was good news. But like, again, you're thinking, all right, it's 7-2, but we're only like, there's still 9 out.
I don't feel great about it, if I'm honest.
No, but I will say this. I immediately felt great the next inning. Rojas again struck out, and then Schwarb's lined out. But Trey Shiesty comes up and gets that run right back.
All I said was get it back. Yep, that. Just get it back. And then the game, you're exactly right. The game's completely different when you get that run back.
Yeah, it puts Atlanta might feel like they have like this little
Yep.
bit of a pulse.
Yep.
But the second that Trey
It's
comes up and puts
gone.
that ball in the flower
Yep.
bed, it's like, all right, we're back to where
Yep.
20 minutes ago. And it doesn't matter what the Phillies do from
Right.
there. They just got their 6-run lead back.
Yep.
Bryce flew out, but was this
Yeah,
close.
oh my God, he
Like,
was so pissed. He was so mad when he got to
dude,
Paco.
dude, it was literally like 2
Yeah.
inches from the barrel.
He was so
and that ball
mad.
was. And here's the thing. Here's why it's huge, because he's staying in the middle of the field.
Yes.
And when Bryce is middle of the field to left field,
Yeah.
he's in. He's
Yeah.
locked.
Yeah.
He's locked.
Yep.
So that's big. So then the Phillies, they don't bring Strami back out, which was the right move. There's no need to.
Absolutely.
Was to get one out. That's it. And that should be his job. He
Yes.
should be coming in to get
No.
one out in a 3-run game
Yep.
or more. So they call on Sir Anthony, who just basically threw gas.
Yeah.
That's all he did. They learned their lesson from the other night. Acuna ground out. Azzy then singled. They went at Riley with fastballs. I think sinker, four seam, sinker, four seam. The Dodgers were like 2 feet away from tying the game. 2 feet away. They had the tying run. Actually, the go-ahead runs at the plate last inning. Might have been the tying run. I can't remember, but it was Betts, Freeman, and JD Martinez, and they all struck out. And now they have the tying run at the plate with 2 outs in the 9th. So, and it was Chris Taylor, and he just track any other stadium. Sir Anthony struck out right, and then he got Matt Olson to fly out. I think it might be time to consider Sir over Hoff.
I agree.
In this, at
with
least
this
in this
team,
series.
yes, with this Atlanta team,
Yeah.
I completely agree.
Because they know this Atlanta team knows Hoffman's coming in throwing sliders. They know that's his best pitch.
Yeah.
And they can cheat a little bit
Yeah.
with Sir Anthony, even though they know they're getting the fastball, they're having a lot of trouble.
He blew it past Riley.
Yeah. And seriously, Riley should see nothing but
No, absolutely.
from everybody right
Yeah.
now. I don't care who you are. Phillies go 1, 2, 3 in the 7th. And then the Phillies go to Kirkering, which I liked. I think again,
yeah.
in some playoff games. How was the ovation for him tonight? Because in the Florida, in the Miami, people realized it was him. It was a pretty loud ovation.
When they announced him officially, it was a big one.
Yeah. Because I don't think people recognize him like your casuals when he comes in.
The scoreboard shows who's warming up. Like, I obviously knew he was coming in, but when Baker announced him, like it was loud.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I will say this though, this Braves team, they weren't biting on the slider.
Not at all.
If it was off the plate, they spit.
He had to throw it for a strike.
So I'm not sure what that's about.
I just think this is where he needs to use that 97 to set up the slider.
And he started to. Oh my God, dude. The Diamondbacks just swept.
Unbelievable.
Wow.
I mean, the Dodgers pitching was just decimated.
Yeah. So NLCS trip for the Diamondbacks.
I feel like I didn't hear Mookie Betts or Freddie Freeman's name one time.
No, they were terrible. But that's 5 straight wins for the Diamondbacks in the postseason.
Yeah.
All right. Well, okay. So they bring in Kirkering. Ozuna singles. Darno lines out to Marshy. I think this is
yep.
Talk about Marshy. And then Forrest Wall pinch hit. He flew out to Marshy. And then Arcia grounded out to Trey. Really great hustle by Ozuna, by the way, who wasn't even a picture when the ball reached the second.
Trey got it and went like this to Bryson. He was just like,
there was like he wasn't even in the frame when that ball reached him. So talk to me a little bit about Marsh.
So that Darno hit was like, as soon as he hit it, I was like, oh no. Because it was hit hard. It was in the gap. And then when I saw Marsh get to the spot and start backpedaling to catch the ball, I was like, this is why Bryce playing first base changed this team. Because Kyle Schwarber isn't anywhere near that baseball. Let's just be honest. He's not even close.
Yeah.
And Marsh got to the spot and had time to square his body to the plate and take 2 steps backwards to catch the ball. I didn't think there was a chance anyone caught that ball off the bat. Literally. And I just was like, what? Like, that's how he's catching it? It was amazing.
He was also, Frank Hort pointed out, he was positioned really well. Which, you know, you don't have to position him the same way you do Schwarber. You cheat with Schwarber. And you know, you don't have to do that with him. So yeah, I agree. I love him in.
Or you have
I love
or you have to cheat Rojas that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But with Marsh there, Rojas can play more straight up and even shade
or
more the
more
Casty
toward
side.
Nicky.
Exactly.
Yeah. So then the bottom of the 8th, and this is, you know, where it just unraveled, right? Like Casty comes up, hits his second of the night. Shout out.
That ball was smoked.
Crushed it. Yeah. 112 exit velocity, 450 feet.
It was on a line the whole time.
Yeah. It never left the plane.
No, it was ridiculous.
Same thing with B's home run following that 102 exit velocity, 2 feet.
Can we talk about Brandon Marsh this game?
What a night. What a night.
What a night. I was so happy.
This dude has basically been put in a straight up platoon, continues to be a tremendous teammate. And then when he's called upon, goes 3 for 4.
But again, off of a struggling September.
With top shelf defense.
Where he struck out 30 plus times in a month.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
And to get him going, I think is crazy enormous considering we just saw Arizona win. Yeah, with the righties that they have, if Marshy starts getting some confidence, like
hitting eighth.
Exactly. It's enormous.
Yeah.
It was so great to see him go single, double home run. And an Oppo home run.
Yep. Rojas grounded out. Schwarber got hit by a pitch, almost got him in the male area.
Yeah.
It was like this close to getting him down there.
I just laughed. I said, well, at least he got on base today.
Yep. Trey Shiesty walked, and then Bryce grounded out into a double play, but again, up the middle.
Yes.
Kind of jammed him.
They were playing him
up
that
the
way
middle.
too.
Yeah. But still, he's up the middle.
Yep.
They bring in Lorenzen. All I kept saying was, dude, fastball. What are we doing here?
I just counted the outs. I said, we only need 3, Michael. We only need 3 outs. Come on, buddy.
Yeah. Just please throw.
He bounced the changeup 3 times.
Yeah. There were a couple of plays by Trey in
which
this
were
game.
Fantastic.
One in the hole that he made.
Yep.
I think it was a Cunha ground ball where
and
he
Bryce
threw out.
Missed it. Was that the same one?
No, it might maybe. Yeah,
I think it was.
Of the back
it hit Bryce in the chest. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was. Acuna was out, by the way. If Bryce catches that, he was out.
Oh yeah. I think. I think. And if was it Acuna? I don't think it was Acuna because they talked about he had time. It might have been Riley. It was somebody slow. Acuna. I'd have to look back. Either way, they said if he would have set his feet, he would have had him. But so he got Harris to pop up. Then he made the play up the middle with Acuna, where he slid and threw Acuna out at first on the play up the middle.
That
play was ridiculous.
That play was ridiculous.
Albies walked, and then Riley singles. They had first and second. Then Olsen hit that ground ball to Boehmer's right.
Yep.
Dude, that is not a play Alec Boehm makes May of last year. I mean, he made that play look so easy.
Yeah.
Backhand throw across your body. Like, what an unbelievable play.
Yeah.
So now as the 9th inning and the Phillies win, as the 9th inning went on, as the 8th and 9th innings went on, a chant started to form in the crowd. One that became more clear as time went on and it caught throughout the stadium. The "We Want Strider" chants.
Yeah.
Man. Now, I asked Regz before the show, did you participate? And he said no. He said he didn't like it. And So I'll give you the floor in terms of like Regz, why fan Strider chance.
I don't like it because he's still really fucking good at pitching. And listen, and the only reason, and I think it's more so because when he steps on the mound in the next game, I want there to be a nonstop wall of sound while he pitches. I don't want to poke the bear, I think is what it comes down to. Do I want everyone to go as hard as possible when he steps on the mound? Absolutely I do. But like, this dude was a Cy Young candidate who was 8-0 against the Phillies in the regular season, like, and made them look pathetic in the regular season. I understand we beat him once. I get that. I just twice in the postseason, yes, once already this series, I should have specified. I want to save it all until he steps on the mound. Don't give him anything to get like hyped up before this game starts. Give him nothing. Give him nothing. And make him step onto that field to a constant wave of sound and booing and Strider, Strider. Like, all game long that should happen. Don't give him nothing before he steps onto the field.
All right, I can appreciate that, and I do hope that there are Strider.
Oh, there has to be. That game three was the best thing that ever happened.
I hope that that's what
it's going
happens.
to. We were chanting Elder.
Yeah, I really hope that the Strider chants are loud and fierce from the first pitch he throws. I loved it. And I'm gonna go to, you know, the reason why I gave everybody else. This is a dude who, like, literally a week ago, there were no fans, right? So you're basically saying to him, we're not scared as a stadium. The players across the diamond didn't say it. This isn't an NLCS situation. Yeah. The players across the field know who's pitching tomorrow. They understand that. What the fans do is add that extra level. What Strider sat in the dugout and watched today was a 10-run onslaught, an absolute ambush, 10 runs, right? The Phillies' best player is pissed. The Phillies' second best player right now is Nick Castellanos, who's incredibly locked in. And then you've got a caveat of other dudes who are just playing out of their minds right now, right? So what the fans did tonight, in my opinion, was say to Strider, like, look what you're getting tonight, right? We want you tomorrow. And I said to somebody else, like, what's it matter? The dude owns us.
Yeah.
Like, what does it matter? If he comes out and dominates us tomorrow, it's not because of the fans. It's because over his career, he's dominated.
Yeah.
It's not like we've had really good luck against him and we're saying, oh, get us. And then he comes out and dominates, motivate, right? Like, this dude has owned us. Bryce was relatively quiet outside of the Strider home run in this series.
Yeah.
You know, game 2 was not Bryce's game. No, you said that.
Yeah.
And basically what happened was Arcia said, and it woke him up. Strider was still really good in game 1.
Yeah.
He was really good.
Yeah.
He was tremendous in game 1. But ultimately what it comes down to is the fan base basically naming, like, dude, buckle in because tomorrow is going to be loud.
Yeah.
And I loved it. I love that the tone is set because now, like, no matter what is his confidence level, no matter what he thinks about his history with the Phillies is, in the back of his mind, he knows that place is going to be loud. And you being at the game, you didn't hear what they said on TBS today. I don't know if it was Frenchie or the play-by-play guy. I'm
Anderson,
drawing a blank on his name. Right? Thank you. Yes, Brian. Was it Brian Anderson?
Yeah, Brian Anderson. Yep.
Yeah. One of them said that they talked to Snicker before today's game, and he said this is the loudest place that we play.
Yeah.
And it's not the place that you want to play. And so again, we can put to rest all the Brave fans tweeting, "Oh, Truist is a great place." Like, yeah, you all got excited about one of the greatest baseball plays that we've ever seen.
Yeah.
But the Philly fans are standing up with 2 strikes in the second inning with 1 out. and being that loud. As loud as you got over the greatest baseball play we have ever seen.
In the second inning. Yeah.
We're that loud in the second inning with 1 out and 2 strikes on the guy.
Right.
So, no, we're not the same. We're very different. We are very different. And your manager just said that. Your manager just said it's the loudest place that you can play. So what the Phillies fans did tonight was tell Strider, buckle in, big guy. Strap that mustache a little tighter because tomorrow is going to be a nightmare for you.
Tighten them pants a little bit, bud.
It's going to be a nightmare. And look, he might come out and dominate.
He might just shove. Yep.
He might shove. And we know that.
Yeah.
The Phillies know that. The people chanting we want Strider know that.
Yeah.
But if you have any chance against Spencer Strider, it's by getting in his head.
Yeah.
Like he said it. He doesn't like fans in the stands. The guy said
he doesn't like noise.
So what do? You let him know. Now they showed clips of him in the dugout, and like he wasn't sitting there laughing. He wasn't sitting there joking around. He didn't look like comfortable. He didn't look like excited.
Right.
Like he was just kind of looking. He looked like a guy who knew that his team's season lays on his right arm at the toughest ballpark in the country to come and play in. So I loved it. And I understand the people who are saying, oh gosh, I don't really like this. But Regz, like the worst that can happen is he comes out and he shoves and they beat us and we get Wheeler to come back in game 5.
Yeah. I really don't want to go back there.
I don't want to go. I don't want that either. And there are many reasons why. I don't want it because I don't want it.
Yeah.
I also want Wheeler to match up against Zach Gallen in game 1.
Yeah.
So, I would love Wheeler at home against because I feel like the Diamondbacks,
they aren't prepared for what we got.
They beat the Brewers, who are a very talented pitching staff. They have a really good staff. But then they went and beat an LA team that, it's essentially me and you throwing. Lance Lynn was their best opportunity to win, and he gave up 4 home runs in one inning.
Yeah.
Technically 5, but they called one back, and then on the next pitch, he hit it out anyway.
That's right.
So, all right, let's quickly get to this Arcia stuff from the post game. Because during the game, one of the broadcasters on the Braves radio, after the second Bryce home run in the third slash, they talked about Bryce staring down Arcia and saying, they were basically saying, well, we don't even know that he said it. So there's conflicting reports, right? And Braves fans since Monday have been coming to Arcia's defense. There's even one guy. He doesn't even speak English. I don't care if you speak English or not. You play baseball for 25, 30 years. You've heard attaboy a couple times.
Yeah, right.
Like I say it like 16 times a game just watching it.
Yeah. He understands what it is.
He knows what he's saying.
Yeah.
So I kind of had to scoff at some of that. But after the game tonight, he was asked about it and said, I'm not happy because it wasn't supposed to leave the clubhouse. Bro, you said it with the media in the room. Are you not aware that when you say stuff with the media in the room, it's gonna get out?
Yeah.
Like you expect it not to get. If there are Philly reporters in the clubhouse, it's gonna get reported that you were acting like an idiot. That's on Brave veterans for not putting him up against the locker and being like, dude, what are you doing?
Did you see what Darno said too?
I did not see what Darno said.
He's sitting in a chair and he goes, the clubhouse is a sanctuary. And we shouldn't
not when the media's in there.
We shouldn't have things like this. This shouldn't happen.
And not when the media's in there.
We should be allowed to say whatever we want.
No, that is absolutely not the case.
Again,
and look, we're gonna start. This will be an excuse like, oh, we had a bye.
Yeah.
This will be an excuse like an umpire situation. Yeah. We were all good on Monday when we had the miracle heard around the world. Everybody was cool with that. But the second that things don't go our way, this is the way we react. Like this is how we react. So this to me is a huge turning point in this series. Like you got an angry Bryce Harper. You've got an Atlanta team focused on they're trying to backtrack when really they should all just be saying he shouldn't have done it.
Yeah, right.
It was a mistake. Our emotions were high. He said something stupid. Think about Alec Boehm. and what the Phillies veterans did in that moment versus what the Braves veterans are doing. Instead of saying this is a sanctuary, like Alec Boehm got caught on camera saying that he hated this city.
Yeah.
And what did the veterans do? Before the media came in, they got to him and they said, "Own it.
Yeah.
Own it.
Just take it
and move on."
And we're gonna stand
Take
right
it.
here next to you. But you gotta take this one on the chin, pal.
What do the Braves veterans do? Cower in a corner and say, "Oh my gosh, no, this is a sanctuary." Shouldn't Alec be able to say whatever he wants on the field without it being seen? No, that's not the way it works.
Yeah.
If there's media in the clubhouse, you're liable for what you say. What about Nick Castellanos and Jim Salisbury last year?
Yeah, right.
Like what are we doing here? Like, own it. Just own it. The Braves are worried about the wrong thing right now. And they know they have an angry Phillies team across the way. And Regz, I'm going to tell you right now, if they can't figure it out by, well, I guess what now is 8:00 tomorrow Eastern time. It's going to be an 8:00 game tomorrow now because of the Dodger loss.
Mm-hmm.
But if they can't figure it out by 8:00 tomorrow night, it's going to be a long park. It's going to be a long night. So yeah, I don't really know what else to say other than like, shame on them, man. Shame on them.
Too bad.
Yeah. Shame on them. You got to be better. You got to be better, and you got to be able to be accountable for that stuff. Like, you screwed up, man.
And just saying that stuff makes you look like such a baby.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, someone put it perfectly. It's the Atlanta 49ers.
Yeah, I saw that tweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah.
That was funny. Did you see Chris Bassett, the Toronto pitcher? Did you see what he tweeted?
No.
He said, pitchers love when their teammates piss off the opposing team's best player.
Yeah.
Or the opposing team's superstar or something
Sure, Bryce
like that.
Elder was very happy.
Oh, listen, I just think, there are things that, professional athletes, there's stuff that is sacred to the game. There are the unwritten rules of the game. And I think there are probably plenty of times where athletes get into the closed doors of the clubhouse, and they say and they do things that, are supposed to be between them and teammates. But this sort of stuff doesn't come out often. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like we don't hear about
Yeah.
teams making fun of this player or giving this
Right.
player grief. Like, you don't hear about that because most players in most situations, and this is a very, again, like we haven't heard this from the Braves either. And that win was super emotional. There's no doubt about it. But read the
Right.
room.
Wait 45 minutes till the media's gone.
Be aware of the surroundings.
Say whatever you want.
Yeah. Then do and say whatever you want.
Yeah.
But I will tell you this right now. Be shocked if there are not attaboy Bryce Harper.
Oh, there already
shirts.
are.
Are there?
Alex already tweeted it.
There are shirts already.
Yeah. She said that took long. LOL. That was her tweet.
Yeah. They're gonna be flooding the ball.
It's already done. Yeah, it's already done.
Yeah.
I kind of want one.
Oh yeah, for sure. Speaking of tomorrow, Ranger Suarez gets the ball. Do you feel like the plan is similar to what it was on Saturday evening? Or are they going to let him go out there and do his...
I think the plan will be very similar to what Aaron Nola had tonight.
All right, so let him go as far as he can go.
Yep. Again, I think it'll be very dependent on what Ranger has. Ranger's curveball was very good in game one. Mm-hmm. So if he's got that again, I think Rob gives him a little bit longer leash. I really do. Even though guys are ready in the bullpen, everyone will be available. I really do think at home that it'll be very similar to the Nola situation tonight.
Yeah. So yeah, they have not, just for listener context, everybody who pitched tonight should be available tomorrow.
Yes.
But the guys who pitched tonight, outside of Sir Anthony, do you necessarily need
You shouldn't
those
see
guys,
Lorenzen.
right?
You shouldn't see Kirkring. Strom, why when Soto's out there, Alvarado's out there.
You got Soto out there. You got Alvarado out there.
If you
Kimbrel
need
hasn't
a
pitched
long,
since
if you need a long
Saturday.
man like Sanchez is out there,
Correct.
I agree. None
Yeah.
of the guys we saw tonight, outside of Sir, I want Sir.
Yeah. I mean, Hoffman's out there if you need him. I just think, you know, if Sir feels like he can go, and I'd have to take a peek and see how many pitches he quickly. But I think you do have a loaded bullpen, and you'll have, knock on wood, you don't need it, but if you do have to go to a Saturday game, you have a day off.
Yeah.
So you could deploy anybody at any time.
Yeah.
And use them however you feel you need to. But in my opinion, I agree with you that he's gonna going as long as he can.
Yes.
With Sir, I mean with Ranger tomorrow. Dominguez only threw 10 pitches.
Yeah, so he's fine.
Yeah, he'll if they need him, they can go back to him tomorrow, especially the day off Friday.
Yeah.
And honestly, if you get the opportunity, I would 1000% use him.
Oh, absolutely.
Because I think, you know, the more you can build his confidence,
Yeah.
the better.
Yep.
You know, the Diamondbacks do have a good number of talented right-handed hitters, and it'd be nice to have both he and
yes,
to have two really dependable righties.
Again, I think Sir's been very good this postseason.
Yeah, you have two really dependable right-handed pitchers. Really,
but against this particular team, I'd rather, like you said, I'd rather see Sir with his velocity and his ability to have the cut, the movement on that 98 is crazy.
Yeah, I'm very anxious to see what the what the plan is with him tomorrow, what the leash is with him tomorrow. I think, you know, again, I say this all the time with him, and I will not stop saying it, ever. This is a dude who has no pulse. This is a dude who is not worried at all. He just, like, they showed him in the dugout at the end of tonight, and he's just laughing and like tossing a ball up in the air to himself, and like he knows he's getting.
Again, has Ranger had a lot of home starts in the playoffs? Even last year.
He started Houston on the road.
He did Atlanta on the road last year.
Started Atlanta on the road.
So he didn't.
I'm trying to think of the
pitch in St. Louis.
I'm trying to think of
in San Diego.
San Diego series. Who started game one? Wheeler started game, right?
Yep.
Did he start game two and Nola started game three?
Yeah.
Home? Did he?
Did he?
I just don't remember. I don't remember if any series he started. Now he pitched out of relief in game 5 of the NLCS. Right? But I don't know if he pitched at home, if he started at home. Are you looking it up?
I am looking it up.
Yeah, I'm curious. I'm curious to know if he started.
No, Ranger. All right, Ranger started game 3 at home.
So all right. So that was the game. That was the series he started.
Yeah, but that was the only one. So he's had one postseason start at home.
Yeah.
Again, in another. I think.
And he's, you know, I think again with Ranger, it's just all like nothing bothers him. You know, he can do it on the road. I think, you know, he'll be calm with the stadium at max capacity, max volume. You know, he's a guy who pounds the strike zone and does it effectively. So I think going into tomorrow for him is simply do what you do best.
Yeah, so just
attack these guys and make them beat you. The pressure is all on Atlanta. It's been on them the entire. They fell into a win in game 2. You essentially have dominated this series, hands down. Dominated
outside of
this
3 innings.
I wouldn't even say that. I'd say outside of 3 pitches.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Like it's truly 3 pitches that have cost the Phillies. So, you know, you're going to have the raucous crowd again. You're going to have an Atlanta team who is focused on all the wrong. Avoid it. And meanwhile, you've got Bryce Harper in his postgame interview saying we're just out here having fun when he's asked about staring at see ya. And then later he did say, yeah, I stared at him.
Yeah.
It's a competitive game. I
Right.
stared at him.
But that's what makes it fun.
But that's what makes it
So-
fun. So like he never really addressed
Right.
the elephant. Well, when he was asked about like, you know, what was said, he said, my teammates showed me.
Yeah.
Well, he did what he was going to do.
So for context,
I don't think he's done yet.
Yeah, for context in that game, Ranger went 5 innings, 2 hits, 2 runs, 1 earned, and
What was the final of that game?
4-2.
Okay. So if he's given up any runs or he gets into,
He threw 68 pitches.
yeah, see, that's not a long leash. Like they
Yeah.
don't really let him go long in the postseason. Because for Ranger, it's like that third time around the order is tough. You know, it's not like Wheeler where he's still going to get you the third time around. Like Ranger stuff doesn't translate to the third time through the order. So you've got to really hope that he can get through if he can get through the 5th inning.
Yeah.
Right.
So
without and the Phillies can grab a lead.
Yeah. So Corey Seidman just tweeted, Ranger Suarez starts for the Phillies in game 4. His last 6 times facing the Braves. 3 2/3, 0 runs. 6 innings, 1 run. 3 1/3, 1 run. 6 innings, 0 runs. 6 innings, 1 run. 5 innings, 0 runs. So I think very similar to the Nola leash is what we're going to see.
Yeah, those are not big. Your max innings there is 6, and again, some of it depends on the.
Yes.
You know, if they put up 7 runs again, they're going to give him a longer leash. If it's tight, like it was in game 1 on Saturday, then he's going to have a short leash.
Yes.
Depending on how many times he's been through the order. So, you know, I think it again, I'm broken record to kind of wrap up here for the night. For this to go the way that we're hoping it goes tomorrow, there needs to be a clean first inning.
Mm-hmm.
That leads to runs immediately.
Yes.
You've got to carry tonight's momentum into tomorrow's first inning.
Yeah.
And if you can jump on them right away, dude, that tail's going to go between the legs so quickly.
Yeah.
So quickly. Like you just need to cash in early, 2 to 3 runs on the Philly side of things. Put Strider on his heels. Put the team on their heels. Make them second guess why they're even playing.
Make them desperate. Make them just start swinging and stuff that they wouldn't want to because they feel like they have to.
Yeah, make them jumpy.
Mm-hmm.
And if there's anybody who can make a team like them, Ranger Suarez with all of his junk.
Yeah.
So it really tomorrow. I don't know. I have this feeling that this team is just not going to be denied. They're so locked in offensively right now.
Yeah.
And they woke the wrong dude up. So, Regz, I'll see you back here tomorrow.
That's right.
We will jump right back on.
Mm-hmm.
We will jump right back on and lock ourselves onto our hopefully our final recap episode of the NLDS, and then we can take a few days off.
That's right.
And breathe calmly before Monday night at Citizens Bank Park for what would be it would be really cool, Ray.
To have what?
To have 2 consecutive NLCS appearances.
It would be pretty. Yeah, it's pretty sweet.
It would be really special to be able to go back to that series
awesome.
and compete to go back to a World Series.
Be able to
2
defend your title. Yep.
Yeah, because this is a team who, again, like they were picked to win 86 games, picked to finish 3rd in the division again. There's so many things that have gone against the team, but they've been so resilient. And we talked about it on the last episode, saying how, you know, we were devastated about the loss, but if any team could come back in game 3 and flip the script, it was this team. And we wanted a game 3 repeat of what we got last year, and boy, did we get it.
Yeah.
And, you know, real quickly, I know we said we were going to end it. I don't think you did. I didn't. I gotta give the hat tip to Aaron.
Yeah.
what a freaking job by Aaron Nola tonight.
Really?
Like,
I mean,
this is
yeah.
unbelievable what this dude did under fire, under pressure after the year that he's had. Like, honestly, at this point, like, I'd write the $200 million check.
I think he's under. I think this was more stress than Ranger will be under in the next game.
Hell yeah.
This was the
well,
biggest,
Ranger doesn't even know what stress
I understand,
is. Ranger,
but in terms of just how this series was going, this was the biggest game that's happened.
Yeah.
And he came out
and shuts down.
One run to this offense was
6 2/3.
Tremendous. Tremendous.
Yeah. It's 5 2/3. 6 2/3.
5 2/3.
5 2/3. Just an unbelievable job from him tonight. And in spots like, you know, first and second in the third, he gets out of it. If he gives up a 3-run home run,
yeah, it's oh my God.
The shift in
it's
just
crazy.
the feeling of the stadium, right?
Yeah.
Gets out of it, allows the offense to do work. 6-1 comes out, shutdown inning. Right?
Again,
comes
doesn't allow those
shutdown
shutdown innings. Like, that was the biggest thing.
He made that one adjustment mechanically, and everything.
That slide step is really helping too. Like, Acuna only took one bag.
Which is something that he's not been able to do all.
Yeah.
So look here, end of the day, Aaron Nola, thank you. Boy, did we need this. Like, did we need this? So, balls in your hands tomorrow, Ranger. I don't know that there are many people, you know, over the course of my fandom that I've felt as comfortable taking the ball in a game like this as I do Ranger. I said it before Saturday night, and I'll say it again. He's just the type of guy who takes the ball, and in the moments where you feel like the lights are the brightest, he tends to outshine them. So I anticipate Ranger doing his thing tomorrow, and the offense continuing to do their thing. And I think we're heading back to the NLCS.
Can't wait.
Tomorrow night.
Can't wait.
And we're going to be sitting here. I'm not going to be able to watch the celebration way too far out west for any live Comcast feed. So I'll be leaning on Twitter tomorrow for any post game if they can get it done. But for now, folks, what a night. We look forward to coming back to you tomorrow, hopefully with more celebration, and that we can enjoy a few days off, a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday with no stress and nothing but excitement and anticipation for an NLCS berth. So we will see what happens, but we'll be back to record again tomorrow with, again, hopefully the same excitement and energy. Until then, be good to yourself, be good to one another, take care of yourself, take care of one another. While you're walking down the hall tomorrow, maybe give somebody an attaboy along the way. And I'll start that trend. Regz, good show tonight. Attaboy.
Hey, per my high school baseball coach, attababy.
We will talk to y'all on Friday. But until then, there's really only one thing that we can say. Attaboy Phils, go Phils.
Go Phils, baby.
Oh my God, deep to right field, way up there and way out of here.
The Philadelphia Eagles are Super Bowl champions. Eagles fans everywhere, this is for you.
The 0-2 pitch, swing and a miss, struck him out. The Philadelphia Phillies are 2008 World Champions of Baseball.